We're official, and we're recording. Welcome to another podcast. Today is Friday. Let's call it Free-for-All Friday. I'm sitting here with a good friend, family member. I've known him since I was a freshman in high school, so 15 years.
That sounds about right.
15 years, and then a couple of years ago, he was lucky enough to have me become part of his family when I married his sister. But sitting here with MC Sawyer, sitting here with Mark. He's nice enough to drive 10 minutes to sit in the basement of Champions. We are live. We are in the basement of Champions. What's going on?
Nothing much. How about yourself, brother-in-law?
Not much, man. Just happy the weekend's here, and it was a short week, but it was still a long week.
Well, we did have a little bit of a wedding last weekend we attended, and that kind of sapped the energy out of us.
That was a good time.
Oh, it was a fantastic time, but by Tuesday morning, I needed another day.
Did you? When was the wedding?
Friday night.
Friday. Oh, Lee and I went into Boston Saturday for wrestling.
Jump right into it.
Yeah, we'll jump right into it. We're 5 rows from the ring.
I heard amazing.
It was just a house show, so it wasn't on TV. And that's usually, like, the wrestlers are more, they interact more with the fans. And they like work the crowd more, and there were some big names there. My favorite, CM Punk, was there. But long story short, we sat a couple rows behind Ernie Bach Jr.
Oh yes,
and then Ramiro from 94.5.
Oh yeah, both huge wrestling fans.
Yeah, there were a lot of stars out. So, but I slept till 11:30 Saturday, and then we went into Boston, had a bite to eat at the Harp, which was all right. I've never been there before.
Sobieski well.
Really?
Throwing it out there. Yeah, absolutely.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I got the pastrami sandwich.
Not overly thrilled, huh?
No, it was too salty, but then anyways, Sunday morning, wake up from that because we had to get home around midnight, and I literally from like Sunday morning, I did something with my dad in the backyard, and then from like that point to Tuesday morning, I didn't leave the house. I just relaxed and watched TV, and that was it.
It was definitely needed.
It was, but yeah, no. Thanks for coming over and doing this. Emily's ready to pop.
Absolutely.
So if we have to end this early, that's why you're running out the door.
Best podcast ever.
But let's jump right into it. We're in the middle, not in the middle. We're at the start. We're in the process of the NFL football season beginning. Did you watch the game last night?
To be honest with you, I went to bed quite early. It was 7 to 7 at the time I went to bed.
Really?
But this morning when I woke up, not shocked, by the way.
First of all, it was supposed to start at, 8:30? And then there was a delay, a weather delay, which I feel like never happens in the NFL because of lightning.
That was about 42 miles away, by the way.
Yeah, it was real weird. And it looked like it was just raining, and then it didn't really start till 9:15 local time. But we've talked about this on the podcast before. I've talked about it with Dave. I talked about it with I think with everybody. But what does I know it's one game. It's the first game of the season. And it's Peyton Manning and the Broncos. But the guy throws for 462 yards and 7 touchdowns against the defending Super Bowl champions. What does that tell you? What am I supposed to think? Like what it's the first game, I know. But what, because I got into it with Dave about how the NFL is becoming more of like entertainment, and they're getting away from like skill, and it starts real young and goes all the way through Pee Wee High School. But what is that? What happened last night? What was that?
That's video game football.
Is that how the NFL is nowadays?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But with someone as good as Peyton Manning, it can be.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just going to put up performances this year that are going to be like that. I mean, I'm just convinced of it.
They have a pretty dirty receiving core now. Welker.
Yeah, Eric Decker, love the guy to death. He's going to get like 20 balls this year. There's just not enough balls to go around, man.
How many receptions did he have last night?
I think he only had like 2 or 3.
Man, a good friend of mine actually texted me before the game and said, should I start Decker or Dwayne Bowe? And I was like, Dwayne in fantasy. And I said, Dwayne Bowe.
Oh, great call. Yeah,
I think I heard today Decker was the most targeted receiver in the red zone last year. I might be making that up, but I think it was
maybe second to Jimmy Graham.
Maybe, yeah, but he was up there. And I just feel like still, even with who's Julius Thomas? Is that his name?
Yeah, another basketball freak.
Like Antonio Gates, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Big target, big hands, man. I feel like Decker's the odd guy out. But last night, I went to bed when Peyton when Manning had thrown, I think, 6 TDs.
Okay.
And I woke up this morning and I saw the 7 touchdowns, 462 yards. He's gonna break Tom Brady's single-season TD record in Week 12.
Oh, that's plausible.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But what's your thought on where the NFL is right now as a whole? Because sports radio all week, ESPN, Fox Sports, MSNBC, not MSNBC, whatever the Beatles on, and the sports network. Football. Everyone's excited for football. I mean, what's talk to me, man. Like, is it a good product right now?
I know you hate to hear this as a baseball guy, but it is America's pastime.
Yeah.
And it's not only America's pastime, it's their time, and it's their time after time.
Why do you say that, though?
Every aspect of our lives are now consumed around this sporting.
Okay.
From the 16-week events that are the 16 regular season games, to the amount of money. I saw some crazy stat on the amount of money one man spends on pick'em leagues and fantasy in one season of football.
It's probably close to $1,000, if not more.
Yeah, and we have a good friend. I won't mention names. Adam Merlo spends a majority of his day.
You know how many fantasy leagues he's in, though?
2.
If 2. I think
he's like really focused on those 2, though.
But a guy like that who puts I think you were going to say, I'm sorry, I cut you off. He puts as much time in to those fantasy leagues, but you would expect, like I was watching some guy on TV today, and his last fantasy draft is tomorrow, and it will be his 20th team. How are you in 20 leagues?
That's a little crazy. I thought I was going a little crazy this year, to be honest.
How many are you in?
I am technically in 4 fantasies and 2 pick'ems.
Ooh, okay, I'm in 2 pick'ems.
I like the pick'ems though because, and it's straight up. Both of them are straight up, no points. Because if I'm picking against the spread, I'll give my money away.
Who'd you pick this week?
I'm both got Denver correct in both leagues, but I have not picked another game yet. No.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I picked Denver in one of them. I picked the Colts in the other one. Although Terrell Pryor in Oakland, I don't know. Like I was thinking about yesterday the NFL, and I'm trying to think of like some sleeper teams. You know, like everyone's on board with the Seahawks picking them to go to the Super Bowl, at least the NFC Championship. I feel like they surprised some people last year with Russell Wilson and like catching people off guard. Well, let me ask you this first. Do you see anyone out there like a Terrell Pryor? I don't want to say Geno Smith. And the Bills quarterback, is it Manuel?
Yeah, E.J. Manuel.
E.J. Manuel?
Out of Florida State.
Okay.
Big boy.
Yeah, I mean, are any of those guys capable of doing what the Seahawks did and Russell Wilson, like even Kaepernick from the 49ers? I mean, talk to me,
I think those are very different scenarios and questions. Yeah. When it comes to Seattle, Russell Wilson was just a diamond in the rough. He is just more mature than most of the other guys out there, and that helps his team, and he's got a lot of raw talent around him. And, you know, it's kind of the same thing with Kaepernick in San Francisco. He's more of a run and showy kind of kid because he can be, but he's also got the talent around him too. I mean,
that team's I like the 49ers, man. I just feel like they're loaded.
The NFC is loaded.
They are, huh? There are some good teams in that conference that aren't going to make the playoffs.
I mean, you could undoubtedly at the end of the year go ahead and say 3 teams that didn't make the playoffs from the NFC could have all made it in the AFC.
Yeah. I really in the AFC. I'm thinking just because Brady and Belichick are still there, and I hate falling into that group that kind of says, well, as long as Brady and Belichick are there, they're going to be. It's
the truth.
I know they will be, but I mean, they're always there. I think the Broncos. They were my preseason pick. The Broncos were my pick to win the Super Bowl. And then after that, I'm trying to think of a third team. Maybe the Texans. The Steelers.
Really?
Well, I'm saying like who? The Colts. Andrew Luck is. Let's talk of. I'm bouncing all over the place.
That's why I think there's going to be a lot of surprises in the AFC this year.
Okay, like who?
I wouldn't be surprised by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. Alex Smith, Andy Reid,
I
Dwayne
like the
Bowe,
combination.
Jamal Charles. They have some weapons. Actually.
Got some weapons.
Yeah. Okay.
Defense isn't awful. Relatively young.
Yeah. Okay.
Another team depends on how certain people turn out, but I like what Cleveland's built around.
Really?
Yeah.
I could not even. Brandon Weeden is a quarterback, and
it's
Trent
really got to
Richardson.
do a lot with him, to be honest with you, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Trent Richardson's a filthy back.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm trying to think like. Well, let me ask you this then.
Because I think Baltimore's off the planet. Honest to God, I got a feeling they're just rolling off the edge of that table.
What is like? Well, let me get your take on this. They're on the road last night. They started the season in Denver.
Tough spot to start.
Yeah, it's the first time in, 10, 12 years, maybe longer, that the Super Bowl champions actually started on the road. But that was all because the Orioles were at home
exactly
playing the White Sox.
Thank you, by the way.
What?
All the way around.
Yeah, well, I'm like, what do you think? There are a lot of people complaining that they had to start on the road and that who's baseball think they are. It's the NFL. Get out of their way.
Should have planned better then. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I don't like it because I heard a take on that, and it's like the Orioles are still in playoff contention. They've got some work to do, but they're there. And there are some people saying, like, why don't they just play a doubleheader on Friday, or why don't they just play a double? And it's like you can't really do that at this time of the year. Doubleheaders aren't really as normal as they used to be way back in the day, and I just feel like where the Orioles are making that push for the playoffs, it's going to do more harm than good, and they have every right to say, hey, you guys, we're here first.
Exactly, I agree. I don't even care if they weren't going for the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's their field that night. Sorry.
Yeah. But back to the NFL with all these rookie QBs and sophomore slumps. Kaepernick, Wilson. It sounds like you're a fan of, and that you think he's.
I just think he's very intelligent, and it's tough with someone that smart to say they're going to do something dumb. And you know what? You see it in someone really smart, like an RG3.
Yeah.
Very smart as well. But again, not smart enough that he didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's a thing about these quarterbacks, and Dave and I talked about this a lot. It seems to be the way the league is going. Kind of the scramble, read option, all right, outrun, out-trick your opponent because I'm faster. But I feel like it's gonna catch up to you. These guys are a little smaller. Seems like the defensive linemen and the defensive backs
are huge,
are bigger.
Huge.
Yeah, and I just feel like it's good while it's happening, but it's like 2 or 3 years, and then you've got to go on to plan B because the guy blew his knee out or blew his Achilles, and you've got to go, get not necessarily your Achilles, but just like your knee or bad hit. But I am entertained as all heck watching RG3 play, watching Russell Wilson play. Kaepernick, he seems like a little bit of a punk to me. I don't know him personally. He's all the way out on the West Coast. But you think
the style.
Yeah, but you think like now that the opposing teams have had a full year to watch video, to watch tapes on these guys, do you think they'll adjust and they won't?
They're going to have to.
Yeah, but and if they do, can you stop guys like this?
Just to go back to the beginning, you name all these guys, I'd still hitch my wagon. If I had one wagon to hitch to, it's Andrew Luck.
I love Andrew Luck.
He's
a little mobile.
No, he's gonna. No, don't
well,
even.
He's not like
say
the
that.
white RG3, but he's he can run a little bit. No,
not too much, not too much. But the rest of his intangibles and tangibles are just put him on a different scale. I mean, my issue with that is I don't think he's got the talent around him. It's going to be a struggle for him. But hell, it was a struggle for Peyton for how many years?
Yeah.
So, he's the best quarterback in the league, and it took him 10 years to go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Difficult.
Is Reggie Wayne still around?
He is still around, but, the one I'd be throwing to is that T.Y. Hilton. I know you're a huge fan, but...
I think he's in my starting lineup this week. I think I drafted him.
Oh, man, I wish I was playing you.
No, and then if Ahmad Bradshaw, I didn't realize it, but they picked him up. If he's coming off all kinds of surgeries and foot issues, but
he's getting some mileage on him now too.
Oh, the Colts could be a team. How about the Carolina Panthers with Cam? Cam Newton? He's
got to just take over. I just think he's just too immature to be honest.
I was going to say maturity issues with that guy
because he's a stud, and that's what this. I know we full circle in it already, but EJ Manuel, who we're going to face this weekend.
Yeah.
Up in Buffalo, that's that mold he's out of. E.J. Manuel could be a freak like Cam Newton. But Cam Newton's really not done anything. He's just put up some freakish numbers the last couple of years.
He's a great fantasy quarterback.
Exactly. Is that what this world's coming to?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
I think it
we
is.
Still like winners. Still got to win the whole show.
So who wins the Super Bowl this year?
Oh, man, I'm such a homer. That it's ridiculous.
The Redskins?
But if it's not, yeah.
Excuse me, it's Washington.
Yes, Washington. Oh no, you're not allowed to say that anymore. Big lawsuit.
Yeah,
big lawsuit. We don't need any issues here at the the Champions Hall Comcast.
I'll beat that out. I'll beat that out.
I like the Patriots or Denver because I like one of those two teams to win the AFC. I like that as an AFC championship game. And to be honest with you, I think whoever's coming out of the NFC, it's such a long road to hoe. For them, they're going to just beat each other up until the Super Bowl, and I just think when it comes down to it, I'd take a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady over any of the defenses you're going to come out of the NFC with.
Who comes out of the NFC, though?
I think Seattle's going to take a step back, and I think San Fran might take a step back, to be honest with you.
Really?
I think when it comes down to it, Green Bay looks the best.
Green Bay, New Orleans, do they come back?
No. You know what?
Dallas? Is this the year for Dallas?
I'd see Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. Wow, NFC's stacked. Holy crap.
That's what we talked about earlier.
No kidding.
You know what? I could definitely see Atlanta, but I could also see Matt Ryan pooping himself again. If he can't do it this year, he's going to – I have him as a fantasy quarterback, so let me tell you, I want him to blow up.
Yeah.
I want him to score everything he can, but he's got to put some playoff wins together. With that team around him, heck, I should be winning with that team around me. You just throw it up to those guys.
Yeah. Is Eli Manning? I think Eli's going to have a bounce back year, and I'm not just saying that because I have him on two of my fantasy teams. But I feel like
numbers wise, I think he will. I just think the team won't.
Yeah, no, numbers wise, I think he'll be there. But I just think like him and Peyton.
But to me, he's one of the top 5 on the planet, anyways.
Really?
I got Eli higher than most people do.
Do you base that off of just Super Bowl rings?
It's tough to say no. It's tough to say no. Yeah. When you win the whole thing and twice.
Yeah.
That's stepping up right there. One time you could say fluke.
Yeah.
Twice you can't really.
Yeah, he made some big throws. Real good catches too. But anyways, moving on. We mentioned RG3 a few times. He's supposed to be starting opening night. I think they play Monday. I might have just made that up, but
you might have.
Whenever it is they play, he's going to be starting. What is that? I feel like he completely.
You are correct. They do play Monday.
They do.
Yes.
He tore his knee up that last playoff game, right? So it's the last game of the season. Like he hurt himself, but he kept playing. And then that final playoff game, I can't for the life of me. Maybe they're playing the Seahawks. He went down and that was it.
Yeah.
But that was the last game of the season. So now you're telling me from that point until what is going on with these medical people and these athletes and rehabilitation? How in the world is he ready as an NFL quarterback, as mobile as he is, to be ready to go?
Easy answer.
What?
Drugs.
Yeah?
I know no one wants to hear that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're bad drugs. I'm not saying they're good drugs.
Yeah.
But just the way drugs are nowadays compared to, I mean, you, as a baseball historian that you are, I mean, they talk about popping these greenies.
Yes.
Back in the day. I mean, what was that? It could have been anything, in my opinion, but you probably know very well what they are. But at the time, people might have thought they were good, bad, indifferent.
Yeah.
I just think just the way of the world has come so much that technology's better. The drugs are just better. I mean, even the good drugs to help people heal. I mean, the way AP jumped back.
AP,
ridiculous.
And he wins the MVP.
Welker did the same thing. Welker,
I was just going to say.
I mean, he's another one.
I was going to mention Welker because I know he got hurt against Houston. Why do I feel
in
like
the playoff game? I thought, or the last game, one of the last two games.
Yeah, it was like
the
their last. Yeah,
something like
he
that.
didn't miss a game, or missed one. I just think it's remarkable, especially where there's so much cutting and slicing and.
Oh, it's crazy. But these guys are
planting.
freaks to begin with. I mean, don't get me wrong. It doesn't just happen on its own.
Yeah.
These guys put in some serious work. I mean, you got to put in some serious effort to be where they are. I mean, to come back from a major injury, you've got to put in some crazy work.
We talked about that last time with Dave, and you had knee surgery, correct?
I've had 2, yes.
Okay. I don't know if you want but just like the rehab process for these professional athletes. Yes, they get paid a ton of money, but you still have to wake up early. You're by yourself. It hurts. It doesn't feel good. You want to give up.
Well, that's why they work out.
No, I know, but it's just a grueling process to get back to where they were before, and
takes a lot of discipline.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's funny. I saw Gregory Campbell for the Bruins. This is, I think, the first Bruins talk I've had all the podcasts.
Soupy.
But he broke his leg in the playoffs. Stayed on the ice, finished the penalty kill or power play kill, whatever you call it.
Crazy.
A couple days later, Clay Buchholz, your boy, hurts his shoulder. And I saw Gregory Campbell yesterday or 2 days ago was on the ice skating with his teammates. And Clay Buchholz still has not come back to pitch in a game for the Red Sox. Granted, he's made a few rehab starts in the minors, and he's supposed to come back on Tuesday. But, come on, man.
There are 2 trains. There's 2 trains of thought there. One is the toughness factor, and the other one is the psyche. I mean, Clay is one of those guys that needs to be 100% healthy, or he's not going to pitch. And if you do pitch him when he's not 100%, you're probably not getting 85% of them. Well,
I saw reports, or they were talking about it on NESN, he's throwing 89 miles per hour. And this is a guy who could crank it up probably to mid-90s if he had to gas somebody. But you're stuck where, the minor league season for baseball is kind of coming to an end. So in order for him to get his work in, you almost have to put him into the rotation. So they're trying to shore up the AL East, but you want this guy to come back. So it's a tough spot. But I was at this point before where it was all right, if Clay's not back, the team's screwed. But now it's all right, well, they've got PV. Lester seems to be back on track. You want to talk a little baseball? You up for baseball? You wore Red Sox shorts.
I wore Red Sox shorts just because I knew it was going to come up. And I'll preface by saying I'm not a huge baseball fan.
Yeah.
I have actually found myself watching more glimpses of games this year than I actually anticipated going into the year. But again, you've seen them. They're likable guys out there.
Well, I was going to ask you why are you watching? Because I think last year.
Well, one being entertaining. I mean, they're in it.
They're winning.
Well, yes, winning, but even if it was still close.
Yeah.
Being in it. I mean, when they had a ridiculous payroll and a bunch of egos, they weren't even in it.
Yeah.
And you put a bunch of guys together that are likable like these guys are. the bearded wonders.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm rocking my own, by the way, just not with the depth of theirs.
Mike Napoli's let his go the last few weeks or
Oh,
months.
some of them are getting really impressive.
Oh, man, Johnny Gomes got a beard
Oh,
going.
yeah.
I wish I could grow a beard, but yeah, no, I like this team too, and they're getting close. You're still waiting for them to kind of. Did you watch? So you said you fell asleep kind of early last night.
Yeah, but I did watch. I was watching. I did see up to 6-2.
Yeah.
I was watching here and there. And again, being similar background in the sport to you, I love it when you got a freaking rotation, man. When you can go day in and day out, and a guy could throw a no-hitter each night. You just don't know. I mean, between, everyone got off Lester a little bit. I think he's just a little bit of one of those sensitive guys, and as long as stuff's going good around him, he'll get up to speed. I don't think he's the number one guy ever.
Yeah.
He's a close 1A, though. I mean, when he's got stuff, when he's got his stuff, and with Jake Peavy, I mean, that guy's just an animal. I wanted him 10 years ago. I wanted him 10 years ago here.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know he was this into it too. Like yelling during strikeouts. Heck, that's what I used to do.
Is that tobacco in his cheek?
Oh yeah.
It can't be.
That's all red man, baby.
No.
Oh, that's
I feel
all.
like baseball would be like, hey man, like that's not a good look.
Nope, that's all red man.
No kidding.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, that's not healthy. But anyways, he's got two different color eyes. He's got like a blue eye and a
Peavy does too.
A brown eye.
I know Max Scherzer's is pretty crazy. His is a little freaky.
Oh yeah, were we looking at the picture?
Oh my God, Max Scherzer's is crazy because the broadcaster for ESPN, that 4-letter network.
Yeah.
He also has that used to do the morning.
Maybe I just made that up then, and I'm confusing it with Scherzer. I feel like Peavy has two different color eyes as well. Maybe it's not. I'm
studying the slider, but not the eyes. Sorry.
So what's your take on base? Like, let's talk about some baseball. I mean, the National League. The National League's pretty.
The Red Sox are the best team in baseball right now. Their record is
they have the
tied,
most wins.
But I'm sorry, Atlanta's record is a little poofed, if you know what I mean.
Well,
Washington just got 70 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, that division is really weak.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Marlins. The Phillies had an off year. The Mets have been kind of competitive.
Just weak.
Yeah, it is. But I don't like the Dodgers just because they're the Red Sox West. And they have Crawford, they have Gonzalez. Beckett isn't even pitching, but I just
done with baseball.
You know what? It wouldn't. That guy. I get it. You got a lot of money. You got a family now, but like at least pretend you care. But the playoffs in the West, all the teams that are going to get in are pretty much set. It's just the Central Division, the Pirates.
Great division, by the way.
Yeah, the Pirates.
Best in baseball.
The Pirates, the Cardinals, the Reds. We'll see who gets. The new format with the wild card where there are two teams now.
I like it.
It puts it really puts an extra emphasis on avoiding that wild card spot. You really want to win the division because some people like it, some people hate it. I like it too, but you get the one game, 162 games, and then you play one game and you lose, you go home.
I love it.
Love it. But I just, and then the Dodgers out west, which I was talking about, I mean, they were 10 games out, and now they're 10 games.
But again,
15 games
awful
out.
division. Awful division.
Well, you know what happened with the West? I think the Giants going so deep into the playoffs.
2 out of the last 3 years. I mean, no one thought they were going to win one World Series. They won 2 out of the last 3.
And they just
blew their load. They just need some rest.
And with that, the Giants too. Matt Cain, Tim Lincecum, Bumgarner, Vogelsson, the arms. They never really known for their offensive kind of power.
Their arms look tired this year.
So
they look tired. Yeah.
All right, fine. You didn't do it this year. All right, next year I'd still count the Giants in as long as those guys are around. But the East is interesting. I like how I like the Pirates. The fact that the Pittsburgh.
You mean Central.
Well,
right?
I like the. Yeah, I like what I was going to say was I like I don't want to say smaller market teams, but the teams that haven't been around and competitive, like the Pirates.
So just Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
No, Cincinnati the last few years have been there, but like I was gonna flop over to the AL and say like I like how the Royals are hanging in there. The Indians.
I didn't realize they were still around like that.
Yeah, they're still kicking.
I knew they had a great start after the All-Star break.
Well, they'll win 10 games in a row, and then they'll lose 10 games in a row, and then they'll they're kind of one of those teams. But they went and got James Shields in the off season. I think having him as the staff leader helped them out. But then you got Francona with the Indians; they're still in it. And then the pesky Oakland Athletics, man. They got a.
Isn't Oakland leading the division right now?
They're literally. I think they're
right
they
there
just
with Texas. Right?
Finished a series with the Rangers, or they just started, but they are they're pretty much tied. And then whoever doesn't win that division, if the playoffs were to start today,
they're both playing each other, right?
Well, no, the one of the teams would get the first wild card spot.
Oh, okay.
So it's
that's
they both would kind of get in. But again, it goes back to the emphasis on winning the division and taking home that the title just to get the little extra rest. But I like baseball. I'm not gonna lie. I'll throw on a baseball game.
All right, then I've got
fall
one question for you, Mr. Baseball. Everyone keeps talking up this Detroit Tiger team.
Yep.
I know we just beat them 2 out of 3 without the best baseball hitter.
Sure.
Are they that good?
Yes. Yeah, offensively they took a little bit of a hit when Johnny Peralta got suspended, the shortstop there.
Why was he suspended?
The biogenesis.
Oh, drugs. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The one sport that actually cares.
Oh, actually, we'll get into. I was reading it briefly before you came over, but I'll save that for a little bit later. But yeah, no, they lost a little bit of offensive power when he went down, but they got Iglesias, which I think is a perfect fit for that team because when he's healthy, man, Miguel Cabrera is the best hitter in baseball by far.
It's so funny, you're right. He has been highlight film since he has left Boston. And every time I see one, I'm just like, geez, I wish I had a shortstop like that.
Yeah. Yeah, he
and the trade was well worth it, by the way.
You get PV for a year. The Sox for
He's
whatever.
signed through next year.
PV.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get him for the rest of this
Okay.
year and then next year. But the Sox for some reason don't seem to value the shortstop position because they've had a different starting shortstop for the last 8 years.
A couple of darn good ones.
That's the thing, and they don't keep him around. Like Alex Gonzalez they had, he was smooth. They let him go, brought him back, let him go. I think they might have brought him back a third time. Orlando Cabrera they didn't hold on to. I think there were some off-field issues with that guy. Even
and
Jed,
Manny's wife.
That's what I heard. But then Jed Lowry, even he's had putting together a nice season in Oakland.
Yeah, he's starting, right?
But yeah, oh yeah. But then then they have Iglesias in the wings, waiting to come up. And then they go out and sign Stephen Drew for a 1-year, $10 million deal. But anyways, I like the trade a lot. The
Hanley thing too, having Hanley.
They had Hanley. I'm not a big Hanley guy. I think he fits out well.
Look at his numbers.
No, I know. I just don't. I don't know. I just wouldn't. I don't know if he'd be a good fit on this team with the guys on the team. That's all. I just don't think he's a good player. But yeah, no, I think Detroit's for real. I think their pitching staff. The only thing that they kind of lack is that dominant closer. I think the closer role can be overrated at times, but it's still sexy to have that guy at the end of the game to come in and throw 95. And there were some rumors out there at the trade deadline they were going to go get Papelbon, but that never happened. They ended up bringing Valverde back. He kind of still sucked. And then they went and got Houston's closer, Jose Veras. But he's okay.
Nothing outstanding.
Yeah, but other than that, I like Jimmy Leland. I like Verlander. I like Scherzer. I like Porcello. I like Anibal Sanchez.
Oh, yep.
Another former Sox prospect. But no, I think Detroit's for real, and I think the Sox caught him at a good time. And I'm sure they might. I actually have Detroit winning the World Series this year. They were my preseason pick, and I had them beating the Red Sox in the ALCS. So I don't know if that will happen.
Well, I'll give you credit for the Red Sox ALCS one because.
Yeah, Kruger and I do predictions before every season.
Is that a homer pick or is that logical picking?
No, I just thought they can't get any worse than last year, and
But worse was pretty bad.
Yeah, and I thought last year was so bad, and it was just so. And I just saw the Yankees. I don't know. I didn't like the Yankees at all going, even though they're still fighting for a playoff spot.
Imagine if they didn't have half the injuries.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, and then Tampa Bay, you always gotta count them in because of their pitching. They just always have freaking studs.
But to me, more of a crapshoot.
Yeah.
With them, they're either up or down.
Greg went to the Dominican Republic last weekend.
Of course he did.
Just for a few days. He usually will plan a trip out, but this was more of just a random long weekend thing, and he was talking to some people down there.
He can afford that. That's why.
But he was talking to some guys who it's different over there.
It's huge. It's everything.
No, I know, but not Miguel Cabrera, but David Ortiz or somebody could walk down the street and people aren't running up to him for his autograph. He told me he met Juan Cruz. Juan Cruz was a relief pitcher. He doesn't play anymore, but he bounced around a couple teams. I think I looked it up. He made $13 million in his career. But Greg said he was at a bakery in the morning buying some coffee and bread, and Juan Cruz was there buying some coffee and bread. And they're just kind of kicking it back and forth. Just real nice guy. He goes, if you didn't know who he was, you would have never known he had so much money and was as wealthy as he is, because he's just a normal dude over there. Nobody harasses him. But he was telling me how multiple people were saying Alfonso Soriano, his age that we know of is 38, and then he was saying that realistically he's more like 45 years old, which I think is crazy because the whole age thing they always, they'll take.
He's 38 though.
He's 30. Well, he's supposedly 38 years old, and Greg was telling me that he's actually realistically more around 45 because he said they like to keep the age 6 or 7 years. So if you're in the DR coming up as a prospect and you're really 24, you change your age to 17, you look a lot more attractive to a big league club.
Of course.
And they want to get the money, so it was a big deal. It hasn't really come up lately, but for a few years it was a big deal. MLB teams getting screwed. But he was saying Alfonso Soriano, 45, and I was like,
I actually wouldn't be shocked.
I was looking at Soriano. I'm he still looks if he's 45, he's playing pretty good baseball, and who knows what he's on. But Greg was also telling me how there are some guys over there, the only two guys that have never, you talk steroids over there and performance-enhancing drugs, and pretty much everyone's name is out there except for Albert Pujols and Robinson Cano. Hitters for offensive guys. Because my first reaction was, what about Pedro? And he's Pedro's a saint. He never did anything. But
I don't necessarily believe that, but okay.
Yeah, well, Greg's a big Pujols guy. I like Pujols too, but they're
all dirty.
Not only baseball, but basketball, football, man. When there's that much money at stake, you can't tell me that if you're going to be a free agent and you have the potential to sign a 5-year, $50 million contract, if you take this little
that's why it's in every single sport.
Yeah.
In some form. It doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be building giant muscles. Yeah. Some can be recovery.
HGH.
Some could be the human growth hormone aspect of it. I mean, there's so much out there now. There's different strands that do different things, just specifically recovery, specifically hydration, stuff like that. I mean, honestly, everyone is doing something.
And it feels like the concoctions of drugs are out. What's the word I'm looking for? The testing to get these guys and to find these drugs when they are taking
the drugs far exceed the testing policies in place. I mean, they physically can't. I mean, the amount of resources they have they won't use it to get chemically break down what they're peeing. I mean, would just be astronomical money, and they're just not willing to spend that because why the heck do they care? It's making money.
That's the thing. Do you think to a certain extent these leagues Not necessarily baseball. I think baseball did in the mid to late 90s because they had the strike and they needed fans to come back to the game. But like the NFL is such a powerhouse, and there's millions upon millions and billions of dollars involved. Do you think these guys look the other way?
They absolutely do.
Yeah.
And the biggest example is when you talk drugs, you got to talk the whole gamut then. And look at basketball.
Yeah.
He's the first guy to do it. David Stern was getting more kids suspended for recreational drug use, i.e. marijuana.
Yeah.
So he changed the entire freaking policy. What he did is they test once a year, literally the week before or week leading up to training camp, and that is the one time they test each year. And it's gotten so bad that the other leagues, i.e. NFL, had adopted the same policy in where we don't know that Aaron Hernandez is using PCP every day and is freaking paranoid and carrying around guns because they're not testing for that. They test once a year, so you stop for 2 weeks, you cleanse, and then you're back to paranoia, I guess.
So what's it going to take? Is it ever going to stop?
No, it's not going to stop. And you know what? You can just only test so much, and that's what you kind of have to do. You got to go to where the law lets you take, too. You can't be drawing guys' blood all the time. That's just an invasion of privacy just as a human. I know they're getting paid excessive amounts of money, but everyone's making excessive amounts of money off them as well. So at that stage, you've got to trust that they don't come back. The $765 million settlement NFL just had this prior week with all the ex-players claiming they didn't know about concussions. Well, now the NFL is doing what they can to try to stop that. And if guys are taking substances on top of that to try to enhance their NFL careers, they're going to do that at their own risk at that stage.
But isn't it all going to tie together one day? Because on one hand, you have the NFL saying these are the steps we're taking to protect the players and reduce the risk of getting a severe concussion. But on the other hand, they're turning around and they're saying they're seeing these players take these performance-enhancing drugs to make them bigger, stronger, faster. And when you're bigger, stronger, faster, and you go and tackle the guy who's not doing anything, because there's probably, 10%? I don't know percentage. There's probably a few guys who aren't doing anything. Aren't they just gonna explode? And I feel like it's gonna blow up in the league's face because
they can't. That's what the unions are there for.
I know, but isn't it just all so shady?
Of course it's shady. Anything to do with
shady?
Excessive amounts of money is shady.
It's so shady. It's so weird. I feel like I don't know. Honest to goodness, I'm into the fantasy football. I watch the Pats because Brady and Belichick. But I just feel like I'm watching thugs and criminals and murderers and drug users. You know what I mean?
Might not be far off.
I can't. I understand it's a game and I'm supposed to just watch the football, but I can't get past I don't know. I just can't get past what they do in their free time. These guys, these aren't good people. You know what I mean? Some of them are, but I just feel like even Brady, having the kid with Moynihan, and then he leaves her, and I think he cheats on her or whatever.
By the way, it was her leaving him, but
yeah,
FYI.
Because he was a scumbag, But then even Belichick too with his wife. These guys are all scumbags.
Well, are we watching football or are we morally judging people?
I'm morally judging people.
Well, then guess what? Then we win right here, then. Honestly, yeah. I do not have any children out of wedlock. That I know of, knock on wood. But again, yes, I'm not going to judge these guys morally because, honestly, I don't care. I don't care what they do on their own time. As long as they put together a team that's going to be competitive, in my opinion, for my local area. Again, if I was in a different neck of the woods, when I spent my year out in California, I was disappointed. But again, so many transplants out there that they don't have a home team. Teams have moved. And
are they ever going to get a team?
Oh, yeah. They've got to get a team back in L.A.
Jaguars?
Oh, you know what? Yes.
Who else would you move there? I was going to say the Bills.
Well, no, I've heard other organizations attempting to move there, like Oakland, moving back to L.A.
Oh.
Or I randomly also heard, I don't know why, Seattle.
Why would Seattle?
That's what I said, but again, it's all money driven.
Yeah.
But I mean, St. Louis, go back to L.A. I mean, they've got a thousand ways to do it. They've just got to figure it out, and they've going to, honestly, I think it's going to take a couple more years because it's just going to take a little bit more of the economy turning around. Their economy is fantastic in the NFL. They're making boatloads, hand over fist. But they can't make everyone else pay for a new stadium in L.A. until everyone else starts making some money too, you know.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And that's how wealthy people stay wealthy.
Yeah, I guess so. I saw a report, the most expensive beer in all of Major League Baseball, most expensive beer per ounce. He had to guess what team had the most expensive beer in the entire
Oh,
league.
my God. If it is the Milwaukee Brewers, I might walk out right now.
Boston Red Sox.
Oh, that doesn't surprise you,
60 cents per ounce.
Oh, yeah. You know why? Because they get it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's so expensive, but people still buy it. And you see people walk by with like two beers, one in each hand, and it's like that's $16. Like you could go out and buy an 18-pack of High Life.
That's $9.99, sir.
Where?
Yankee Spirits.
Really?
Little shout out there.
I just went to Park Ave. What's on Park Ave? State. It was like $12 or $13.
He's a little high.
I got ripped off.
I wouldn't say ripped off. I would say
It was $4 or
well,
$3.
In your opinion.
Anyways, I want to completely switch gears here. It's been 45 minutes already. I told you it goes by fast.
Wow. Wow, you do not stop talking, do you?
No. This is like open mic, man. When Lee and I are talking, she does most of the talking. So this is
my time. Your one vent time.
Yeah, this
I
is
got
like,
it. Well, let it out, brother. Yeah, let it out.
Hour and a half. Spike Lee. I know you're into the Twitter game. I see you tweeting all the time, posting.
That's incorrect.
Do you seriously have a Twitter?
I am not a member of the tweeting community.
I got off of it. It was real.
Oh, you were off now, huh?
I actually got off of Facebook, too, which, hey, thank you for, I heard I'm part of your picture now.
Kind of an accident, but okay. Yep.
Really? Oh, it was an accident?
Yeah, a little bit. So, sorry, I was fooling around on my iPad Facebook.
Oh.
And the iPad app's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So I was just fooling around, and I set a picture. And then my sister calls me, and I'm like, hey, Lee, how are you? And she says, Mark, oh, my God, you are freaking hilarious. And I said, what did I do now, Lee? She goes, well, I saw that you put one of my pictures from the wedding as your profile picture. I said, oh,
I
yeah,
haven't changed in a very long
which
time.
I apparently haven't changed in a while, which I almost actually missed the bachelor party because I'm not on Facebook enough. So, and she just like, so I went in immediately. I was thinking, oh, my God, that picture that with you and Emily was the best picture. I'm so glad he moved that to the profile. And she goes in and finds out my profile picture is me and Ego. And
did you keep it or did you change it?
No, it's still there. Oh, yeah, it's definitely still there. But she had to call me and laugh immediately because she thought it was me and Emily, and it was of me and you at the wedding. So.
Good picture, though.
No, it was.
You look good in the gray suit, by the way, with the
what?
beard and the hair.
You know what? If people could see your pants, I mean, those things were fantastic.
They weren't as tight as I thought, but they were still tight.
No, but you definitely could see your figure. It was fantastic.
I had compression shorts on underneath.
Well, you know what? That's made it. I'm telling you, that must have made it.
Yeah. We ended up going swimming afterwards.
I heard it was a little sausage fest over at the Sawyer pool.
The Landers and Rod, and
yep,
they were jumping off the top of the slide into the pool.
That doesn't.
I was like,
I did that.
Really?
Yeah, years ago, back in Limber days.
Oh man, I was like, oh boy. But I was funny because everyone was just going in their boxers, and obviously the one night we decided to go swimming, I'm wearing compression shorts, and they were the short ones, so they're like up to like mid thigh. So I just look like a jackass. But whatever.
Just Speedos. Nothing wrong with that. Cliff, you and Cliff could have gotten along. Too bad he went to bed.
You too. You used to be a Speedo
well,
guy.
I was a fan. They were nut containers, is like I call them. So
you got to bring it back.
You know
bring
what?
The Speedo back.
I'm too hairy too. On top of it, I just need to nair everything. It was just about that speed in the water, man. It was all about that.
All right, transitioning to.
How the heck can you transition from anything?
Well, I wanted to talk about Twitter, and then we got talking about that. But Spike Lee posted a picture of him and Ray Allen on Twitter recently.
Interesting.
Which sparked rumors of a sequel to He Got Game.
Shut up.
How crazy? How excited? First of all, how excited are you? Because I kind of remember He Got Game. Like I remember Ray Allen was terrible in it, but it was like he was so bad he was good.
Yeah, that's really what it was.
Yeah.
It was Denzel and him being so bad it was good. You know what? My problem now would be I don't like him anymore.
Right? Yeah. I try to tuck him away on the wall.
You know what? Jesus Shuttlesworth. Oh God, yeah. I'm a huge fan. As long as they make him a sequel and he's just a DB the entire time. He's just some rich NBA player that just acts like a jerk the whole time, and then in the end learns his lesson. You know, that would be okay.
What I say that to say this. I don't want to say what's your favorite sports movie of all time because you can't name one, but rattle off like three or four off the top of your head.
I'm a huge
Rudy. You love Rudy.
No, you know what? I can't even tell you. I've seen the whole thing from front to end.
Really?
To be honest with you, probably sacrilegious, but you know what? I like the comedy ones when it comes to sports.
Okay.
But so I'm a huge Necessary Roughness.
Necessary.
A lot of weird people in that one. Little
is
Scott
that a movie
Bakula.
or is that a TV?
Oh yeah, no, it's a TV show now. And
really?
It was an old football movie. Little Scott Bakula as the quarterback.
I'm not
Little
gonna lie.
Sinbad.
Sinbad?
Oh my God, yeah, it's got some random people in there.
Is Sinbad still alive?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I feel like he passed away.
I feel like he might have as well.
Anyways, I've never heard of that movie, and I've never heard of that Scott Bakula guy. TV show? No.
It was a movie.
No, but was he?
Oh
in
yeah, he was in a TV show like that. The man who got sent to different planet areas. I don't remember the show. Sorry.
You're a little older than I am.
Yeah.
So you
he was famous once. The Program.
The Alien movie?
No.
Oh.
The football. The Program.
No, but isn't there an Alien movie? No, maybe I'm thinking about the other thing. Okay. Is that with Cameron Diaz?
That is not with Cameron Diaz. I'm old school. These are 80s movies. This Omar Epps was the running back.
Dude, what about Omar Epps?
Oh yeah, exactly. How about a little bit of James Caan as the coach? Woo! Oh yeah. Fantastic.
I'm embarrassed to say I haven't seen that movie or.
Okay, you know what? How about I'll go up your alley. I saw one the other day that I haven't seen in forever. 8 Men Out.
No, I've never seen it.
Oh my goodness, a little Charlie Sheen.
You know what happened?
Oh, God, man.
You know what happened the other night?
You're young. That's what happened.
I fell asleep on the couch down here. I woke up at exactly 2 a.m. First of all, my mom dialed me. She was working. Called me exactly 2 o'clock. TV was on. No movie was on. Angels in the Outfield.
Okay.
I haven't seen that in a very long time, but Angels in the Outfield, Rookie of the Year.
Those are kid movies, those aren't.
I know, but Sandlot.
But 3 kid movies you just named.
But classics. No, but my favorite of all time, if it's on, I'll watch it. Rocky. Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 6, which I don't think anyone liked, Rocky Balboa.
I don't think I've seen 6.
Oh, you haven't seen 6?
Speaking of that, bringing him up, Tommy Gunn just passed away.
Oh, yeah.
2 days ago. That's awful to hear.
I just saw him
from number 5.
I saw him on TV, too.
My favorite, by the way, is 4.
Yeah?
Yep. Only one I'll watch, actually. The only one I actually care about. He's like a piece of iron. Oh, yeah. Dude, Dolph Lundgren's the man. That's why.
Yeah, no, the Rocky series I really enjoyed.
I've seen them all. I'm just not, I guess, into them like that.
What about Blue Chips with Shaq?
Blue Chips was a good one. I underrate that one only because, what was that, Nick Nolte?
Yep.
Yeah, he's just a whack job.
Can you imagine?
And Anthony Hardaway didn't turn out to be half the player he was.
Yeah, he fizzled a little bit.
I think there was a lot of injury involved, but again, he wasn't. They were talking those two guys up like they were going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I know.
Playing for the Orlando Magic. No one's touching them.
I know. Trying to think of some other movies off I don't want
a field Field of Dreams?
I was just gonna say Field of Dreams. That's a classic. Like
Classic.
that's a given.
Yeah.
There's a movie with John Goodman. He played the Babe. I think.
Oh, The Babe? No, I think
the movie's called The Babe.
Yes, it's called The Babe.
Tommy Lee Jones played Ty Cobb in a movie. I think it was called Cobb. Like those movies were.
That's tough to see. Tommy Lee Jones playing any sort of athlete whatsoever.
Oh, it's pretty good.
The jerk part about playing Ty Cobb, he's got down.
Oh, he nailed it,
but
man.
But the athleticism part, that's tough to see.
No, I'm drawing a major freaking blank now.
You know what? I've been so out of the movie scene. I think that's what happens once you have children.
I was gonna actually ask you, like, what have you gone? Like, honest to goodness, I haven't seen a movie in the theater in like maybe 2 or 3 years.
Oh, it's been that long for me as well. Yeah.
And then there's so much going on in real time, like in sports.
Real life.
Well, I don't have DVR.
Oh, that's
so
disappointing.
like if I want to watch like my Monday Night Raw, the Red Sox, like I gotta watch it while it happens. Yeah, I can watch highlights online and
but
stuff,
I can't like DVR a game because I'm going to find out the score.
Your phone, talk, friends, texting. But I mean, I don't have. Sometimes if it's like raining or Saturday night and Lee and I like don't have anything to do, we'll like do Redbox or we'll rent.
I'm just not excited with the quality you get out of Redbox. But you know, Netflix, if you get right through your charter, I mean,
I don't have Netflix. No, I'm not a Netflix guy. Oh, let me ask you this: transition from kind of TV talk. LeBron James. Did you hear this the other day?
Why do I get pulp culture and everyone else gets real sports? That's disappointing to me.
No, this is sports. LeBron James.
Okay.
He's got there's a new TV show coming out. It's pretty much about some kid coming from nowhere and making it into the NBA. Hence, like LeBron James.
Gotcha.
And it's more like about two kids. One of them goes on, the other doesn't. And I think it's going to chronicle like how hard it is to leave your like past behind.
TV show or movie?
It's like a series.
Oh, interesting.
But LeBron James, he's not going to be in it, but he's going to he's one of the producers.
Why not?
You know who one of the main writers is, and or main writers are?
Who?
Tom Warner from the Red Sox, who came. He was the guy behind the Cosby Show.
Yes, yeah.
But now he's going to be working with LeBron James as a lead writer.
Why not? You're already business partners to begin with.
Does that stuff bother you when like the owners do other things, like John Henry with his he bought a soccer team and the NASCAR
Not at all.
race? It doesn't. Yeah.
They're businessmen. That's what they're trying to do.
It's a business. And
It
all
really
about
is.
Making money and.
Well, because I mean, what are you going to do? Okay, I understand you seem sad when you say it like that.
A business?
Yeah.
Well, because when you're a kid and you watch the game and you think these guys are superheroes and you don't know about anything. But then when you grow up, you go to college, you take like sport man classes, you start looking at the advertisements and the seating and the commercials and like then you start getting away from the game. And I still want to be a little kid sometimes and just like not like I don't want to like I personally I don't really care, but people talk about it enough where I have to give it some attention, I guess.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, you're right. I mean, everyone wants to feel that way. That's why we still watch sports. But at the end of the day, when the game's over, the outcome doesn't really matter to any of us, unless we're betting on it. And then we've just got a degenerate gambling problem.
You're not a big bettor, are you?
Not. I work way too hard for my money to be trying to bet it and make more that way.
I like doing the fantasy stuff.
Yeah, that doesn't feel like gambling, That's even the pick'ems, you could technically win money each week in a pick'em league.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't feel like gambling.
It's like an investment.
Sure. A losing investment at least from my perspective.
I did. I took down some non-sports notes just for whoever.
Again, because you don't ask me sports. So.
Well, no, we can talk sports all day long, but I saw as of June the average family earned an estimated $52,100, which I was like, huh? I was like, that doesn't seem like a lot. Like combined, average $52,000. But anyways, 3, and I mean you're technically like what VP regional sales.
Sure. We'll make up something in that range.
Well, what are you? What's your?
Well, that's
you're VP of sales right now?
Technically, right now, yes.
Okay, well, on the top 10 list of highest paying jobs, number 3 was sales manager at an average of $109,000 a year.
Okay.
We're both in sales, and
Yeah.
I just, number 1's the lawyer, financial managers, kind of up your alley too.
Yeah.
Computer information, IT
Not up
guys.
my alley.
Pharmacist, hopefully Laura one day is making 100.
Well, just because we're going to need to stay alive, me and you, so we're going to need the extra help.
No, but I was just kind of like, Yahoo was going through some of their top
Yeah, well,
stories.
you make double that practically as your managerial position.
No, if
See,
I made,
Xerox sells itself.
if I made double that, we would have like a full studio with.
Oh, we wouldn't just be sitting in a basement right now?
No,
okay.
The basement of Champions would be mobile, or we would have a studio to drive to, but just some non-sports stuff. I switch it up a little bit.
I mean, that makes sense, because think about it. What is this really world based around? People buying stuff and people selling stuff. Someone's got to sell it, right?
344,730 sales managers in the country.
Say that number one more time, please.
344,730. That's how many sales managers there are.
And the average is 109?
On average, it's 105,260. Now, it kind of ranged.
What was the high range?
200s. Like, up around 200. And the low, I think,
that's good money.
The low was like 50, 45, 50. So it's kind of a big range, but for the most part. And somebody before had told me, out of everybody who makes 6 figures, 1 out of 4 people who make six figures work in sales, which would make sense too. We have a couple major account guys who make good money, but you get put into the right position, whether it's
no, absolutely. You could, like me, fall into anything.
No, well,
lucky you want.
A little luck, but obviously a lot of hard work too. So. But yeah, no. A couple other things. You bring you didn't bring a list of.
Well, you did just call me about 45 minutes ago and say, "Hey, would you like to do this?" But I was definitely up for game.
We'll get back to the football thing just a little bit. Brady Quinn signed by the Jets. They're a disaster. I don't know if they still have Brady Quinn. This was from.
No, they do. They need him actually because of Geno Smith.
Mark Sanchez.
He's hurt. Mark Sanchez is way more hurt than we think.
Really?
Honest to God, I think he really messed up his shoulder.
It's his shoulder?
Oh, yeah.
And Geno Smith's knee.
Well, Geno Smith will play. I mean, he just won't be as mobile. But he might lay a goose egg, too. I mean,
they bring in Brady Quinn, and it got me to thinking, Brady Quinn, Matt Leinart, Tim Tebow. You've got these college kids who are very good. They're on the number 1 teams in the countries. And granted, you have your Andrew Luck and your Cam Newtons who are, they're holding their head above water in the NFL. But why can't some of these guys figure it out? Johnny Manziel. I know he's a sophomore now, but I can't picture him in the NFL surviving.
He's not going to.
No, and why is there such a big at baseball? They always say college the minor leagues, the difference between AAA and the majors, the game is so much faster. The pitchers off curveballs, changeups, more movement, and the game just moves faster. Is that the same case for the NFL, or
I definitely believe that, but I think it's even crazier from a quarterback perspective.
Yeah.
I think what is thrown on their plate and what they have to learn and accomplish. That's why I'm going to tell you right now. Other than the Eli, Phillip Rivers, Roethlisberger year, this year, a couple years ago with Luck, Wilson, and RG3 is got to be one of the best.
Think that'll be it for a little while.
You know why? Because some guys are gonna stick around. Heck, did you see Peyton last night? Yeah. Looked like he could play freaking 5 more years like that.
Did you see some of those passes though?
Earlier on.
The tight spirals.
Well, it was early, and then he threw on this glove.
The special
glove? They said it was 100 degrees out there.
So why is he wearing a glove? Because it's wet?
They had lightning 45 minutes away that they shut down the game for.
I
don't know. I saw him, it's funny. I'm a huge fan of Gresh and Zoe, and I didn't get to listen to a lot today. But what I heard of Zolak is he was like, "What the heck's Manning doing, putting on a glove?"
Yeah.
He said he's never. I mean, how many years around he's been? 14. Never put on a glove before.
Let me ask you this: you think it has anything to do with the neck, and maybe he doesn't have true failing or doesn't have good grip in his throwing hand? So like,
very well could be. I mean,
you know
now you're speculating anything. I mean,
I'm making stuff up right
now.
No,
absolutely, it could be that. I mean, that humidity and that weather could have been a factor. I mean, it's Mile High Stadium.
Transitioning the question I just asked about the college QBs going into the NFL? You're a football guy. What is quarterback the hardest position?
It's so hard.
So out of all,
you got to be so disciplined.
So out of all the positions in football, you have a college football player, and you're saying position-wise, quarterback is the toughest to transition to the NFL.
Absolutely.
So wide receiver, running back.
Well, because the routes a receiver runs, where a running back takes the ball and hits a gap, that's not going to vary too much. But terminology, knowing where everyone is on the field, just the amount of dedication needed to be a terrific NFL quarterback, it's see you later social life.
Yeah.
And getting back to you making fun of my good friend Tom Brady, saying he's having a child out of wedlock and leaving, that's the reason. She wanted a family and him to be around, and he knows he can't be.
Well, I think
this takes up so much time, I bet.
I think that's crap, kind of, because now he has a family.
A little bit.
You know what I mean? He's dating a supermodel, and she gets paid millions of dollars. But
she also spends half the year in Brazil.
Did you see pictures of their house in California?
I have not, but I heard the moat was interesting.
There's a moat with koi fish in there.
Why not alligators?
Full gym. There probably are alligators. Giselle was saying how they have such a big family and a large family. I think between them they have like 8 sisters, and there's all these kids. So they just want a place for she pretty much said they want a place for the adults to hang out and have the kids stay active and busy somewhere else. And
can you imagine that hangout party? A little Kevin Youkilis involved there.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. Has he got his own room?
He's bringing the beer.
Of course he is.
And the hard liquor and the cigarettes and the leather jacket. Oh man. Okay. QB's the hardest. Let me ask you this: what's the easy? And I don't want to say easiest because nothing's easy, but what's the easiest position? A kicker, punter?
Well, yeah.
Running. Let me say it. What's easier, wide receiver or running back? I'd say running back is a little harder because
I agree.
Have to. Not that they're not big in college.
Because it's bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
On top of it,
but
it's also you've got to know what the defense is doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to protect that quarterback.
Yeah.
So, but to get back to the easiest player, it's funny that the best player in college right now plays this position, but it's defensive end or line.
Yeah.
Big, the things you need to be. Big, strong, lengthy, and just be able to pin back and go sometimes.
Because my football knowledge is less than yours, could you please name a player that plays that position that I would know? Like a Richard Seymour?
Okay, but he has a hand down. I think like a Chandler Jones. You know what Chandler Jones does? I think that's the easiest to transition to.
So they just stand up?
They put a hand down sometimes. They're sometimes standing up. No, I mean,
what's that
it's
job?
Still difficult.
To get the quarterback or to get the ball?
And that depends on the formation.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it's just contain, and that means grab that offensive lineman and say, hey, no running back gets around him to the outside.
Oh, I got you.
Make someone cut back up into your linebackers.
So much more.
It is.
It is.
But again, to me, the DN position is relatively not simple because nothing is simple. But it's either maintain that corner and end, or just pin back and do whatever the heck you have to do.
Yeah.
Like from the movie The Necessary Roughness. Spit in his ear. Tell him a story. I don't care. Just keep him off my butt for 5 minutes.
What are you most excited about this weekend, football-wise? Like, are you just
it's here?
Is that it?
Honestly, absolutely.
Just sit down, crack open a beer, eat some pizza, do whatever you do.
You realize at 12:48 on this Sunday, my wife will probably go into labor. But she also recommends and is going to request the game will be on in the emergency room.
It's your
as
second one. You don't have to be there.
Oh, no, she almost cares more than I do, so I'm not worried. I'm going to watch the game no matter what.
Did she have any thought on Morneau getting traded? I know Morneau was.
She was a little shocked. She was a little shocked.
He's a free agent after the year anyway.
Yeah, and he's Canadian anyways.
Oh, so Toronto?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh.
It's not like Joe, like JoJo, the hometown boy. He's not like that.
Yeah. I think Joe might get moved this offseason.
There is no way.
Real quick, I brought up his name earlier. You didn't know who he was. John Boy, arrested for public intoxication and resisting law enforcement. There's something else in there, disturbing, disorderly conduct, I think. Went to a bar, left the bar, went back, ran away from the cops. The whole ordeal ended with 4 officers forcefully holding down the 23-year-old. He's some defensive player for the Colts, or was a defensive player for the Colts. To try and avoid arrest, he supposedly told the officers, "You can't arrest me, I'm a Colts player." Probably not the smartest move. I took this down on September 2nd. I think the next day they released them. But my question to you, have you ever been held down forcefully by 4 police officers?
I have not. No. I'm a little shocked that you're asking me that. Don't you think you'd hear about that?
Well, I don't know. There's probably some stuff that I don't know about you, but I figure we got
never held down forcefully by any officers, never mind 4 of them, no.
Probably not a good feeling.
No, I bet it's not fun at all, but I bet he was so lubed up.
Yeah.
Some of that liquid courage, as we call it in the industry, and that being the liquor industry.
I know it as beer muscles, but I call it
liquid courage.
Liquid courage.
Yes.
It's funny how alcohol works like that.
It does.
Especially little people.
Well, you know what? That's also another symptom.
Yeah.
It's called Napoleon syndrome.
Little man syndrome?
Yes. That does occur as well.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I just thought it's never...
And I thought mostly because when you're littler, it takes less of the liquid courage to get you where you need to go.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm just figuring.
You know, I went to the doctor's yesterday.
Oh, this is going to come out on air. Okay.
Or Wednesday.
Okay.
Dude, 5.5. 5'10.5". I think I'm shrinking. I used to be like 5'11".
Well, I did see the picture of me and you that I put as the profile. I am a giant compared to you.
Dude, 5'10.5" without my shoes on. I think I was slouching a little bit. And they don't really they just stand on the scale, put your head back, and then you're done. 5'10.5", 235. And I was like, crap. I'm only 28.
You had to throw those stats out there after how I told you sound kind of little on the radio.
Well, I know you're like 6'3", a solid 265. So.
Well, I appreciate that. couple of lbs more, but I appreciate that.
Height-wise, though, right? Oh, you're 6'4" on a good day.
Oh, with boots on. Oh yeah, with boots. I got some thick ones.
Yeah, we probably are done with our growing spurts, huh? You're in your early 30s.
No, we're definitely going to continue growing.
If you keep growing, you're here.
Out, not up.
Yeah, I know, wide. Every time I go over to I see my mom, I hug her and stuff. I used to be able to rest my chin on the top of her head, and now there's a 6-inch gap between my chin and the top of her head. She's shrinking. She really is shrinking, and she knows she is too. I tell her all the time, but she just keeps shrinking. It's going to happen to us someday. We're going to shrink. We go our whole lives trying to lose weight and get fit, and then eventually we're going to get to a point where we can't help but lose weight.
Because we're just going to get smaller.
Yeah, and then we're going to be oh, this sucks. We could have just been big all along. But anyways, that's my... And then the other note I had was the Hulkamaniac. Hulk Hogan turned 60 years old last week.
Just 60, huh?
Not last week, last month. He's only 60.
He's only 60, huh?
I remember, it's funny, I remember watching him mid to late 90s. I was always a WWF guy, Monday Night Raw, and then WCW, Ted Turner came along, gave him some competition with Monday Nitro, and they got all the old WWF guys. And I remember watching Hogan and Flair and Macho Man and being like, damn, these guys are old. And come to think of it, they were in their early to mid-40s, But you look at Hogan now, and it's ugh.
I still think he looks great.
You do?
Yeah.
So you think he looks...
I still think he looked the exact same for the last 20 years.
Really?
I mean, his body obviously doesn't have the mass and size, but his face, I think, is the same.
I feel like he looks like he's 70. I saw that and I was surprised.
Well, a lot of abuse on that body over the years.
Steroids, surgeries.
The latest little video that came out. Hello.
Yeah, that was weird.
He was good for 30 minutes. That's impressive.
That was weird. Well, I don't know if it's impressive or I don't know, but
are you kidding me? I know a couple of people that probably couldn't make the 15-minute mark. Never mind the 30-minute mark.
I know your dad and I talk wrestling sometimes, whenever I see him. But when you think wrestling, professional wrestling, is Hulk Hogan the guy? Like I'm not going to get into like technical, like match-wise, like hey, because he wasn't the best wrestler of all time, but he was the most popular, right? Like when you think of wrestling, you think of Hulk Hogan, right?
I think of 3 people.
I know what you're going to say. One of the guys.
Only because he was my favorite, but Hulk Hogan was the whole group, the whole genre. It all was around him.
Yeah.
But Hulk Hogan, leading into him, Andre the Giant.
Oh, okay.
And when I moved past rooting for the single best guy, I became a huge Warrior fan.
Yes.
I'm an Ultimate Warrior man. So
yeah.
Those 3 are the real 3 I were really as big into wrestling.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that fell off when a long time ago, I should say. My knowledge does not go much farther than 10 years ago.
I don't have to talk about wrestling. I was just trying to think, like, when people... Because
he's the man, right?
Who?
Hogan.
Yeah, I think he's been over...
Then who's your guy? If you're going to name one... I mean, I know right now your favorite guy is this guy, CM Punk.
Yeah.
And I watched him the other day, and you're just about his technical wrestling. Yes, his technical wrestling is fantastic.
Yes.
But it is also...
on the mic, like his mic skills, like
his mic skills are good. Okay.
He was there last Saturday at Boston, and like he's in this angle right now where he's kind of feuding with his former manager, and they did something on Monday Night Raw. So then the show was Saturday, and like you could just feel he's a good actor. I'll put it that way. He makes it feel real. And it was kind of funny because we were sitting in the section, and I'll admit there were a bunch of little kids, and with their parents and stuff, not super little. But he gets on.
You were with supervision as well.
I was, but he was, and then I was sitting next to a younger kids, I should say. And he gets on. He comes into the ring. He beats this guy down with a kendo stick, and it's TV PG, by the way. So they're doing more of the kids stuff now, and more of the storytelling, like old wrestling, like corny storylines. But he gets up on the top turnbuckle. He's 20 feet away from us. He's looking into the crowd, and he just yells, "Mother effers," as loud as he can. And then I looked at Lee and I was like, whoa. Like the guy doesn't, he kind of cares, but he doesn't care. He said something else too. He swore something other time. But I'm kind of looking around like the dads are holding the hands over the kids' ears. But he's just kind of that he makes it feel like it's real a little bit. So that's why I like him. I know your dad likes the big, bulky, strong guys. But
well, that's
another.
That's Cliff's little fetish.
You think Cliff would do this?
I don't think he's got enough knowledge to lay out a 20-minute track.
We'd be talking about Laurel and Hardy a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd have to do my research. I've got we didn't touch on basketball
because there's nothing to really talk about.
Well, I mean, J.R. Smith came out.
You guys think? Okay, the J.R. Smith thing. Yeah, that's just funny to me.
The weed thing. Getting suspended, but also he came out last week, and Paul Pierce made some comments. How the Nets were like the team in New York now, the beat, and J.R. Smith came out and pretty much said, "Shut up, you're stupid. It's not true." And then he went as far as to say that Knicks he guarantees they're going to win the championship this year. And I laughed. I said, what?
Did, yeah.
You're going to who? You're going to what? I think as long as LeBron James is healthy, I'm sorry, whatever team he's on, they're the favorites.
You need something around him, though.
I don't know, man.
Then he would have won in Cleveland.
I know, but that was
I know he's matured, and once you get the first one, you're a different person. But I don't know. He didn't get over the hump there.
I feel like
I think now you could throw him with almost anyone, and he'd win. But he didn't for a long time.
I've asked this question before. Do you think he's going to finish his career in Cleveland? Do you think what do you think? I know he can opt out after this upcoming year.
I can't see him going to Cleveland now.
But me neither. I feel like the last year, maybe he'll do one more year there to try to make things right. But do you see him staying in Miami for the next 8 years, 6 years?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, or because, well, why not? Because, I mean, the Lakers, they're going to have some money to throw around.
He doesn't want to play with Kobe.
Well, I mean, how much longer can Kobe play? You know what I mean?
He's going to try, and he doesn't want to play with Kobe.
I wouldn't want to play with Kobe.
Nor would
If
I.
I was LeBron, just because LeBron, it's...
I'm Mark, and I don't want to play with Kobe.
Kobe seems like a real dickhead. Pardon my French.
Yeah, no. Yes, I mean, he's very good at what he does. I would never, ever take that away from him. You can't. He's got 5 rings. You can't take that away from him. But, yeah, you could be nice in doing it. And just his past, I mean... And I don't even care that he got caught shagging some girl out in Denver. Yeah. I mean, what is she, cleaning the hotel room or something? Something like that, yeah. I don't even care about that. I don't care that he had to buy his wife a $6.5 million diamond ring to make up for that. That's impressive, by the way.
That's nuts.
But, again, could care less. I just don't think he's a nice person. And if I was playing basketball with him, I'm pretty sure I'd never get a damn shot off.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, he does take a lot of shots.
Lots.
He tore his Achilles and then shot free throws and then walked out of the game. Like, how do you...
I mean, that was tough. I like that.
He straight up walked, though. Like, he wasn't like... That's nuts to me. Like, you tear your ACL, you can kind of hobble off the field. You have surgery in like a week or two, whatever. But you tear your Achilles, you're kind of like...
tough.
Consiglio tore his Achilles. He was on the dance floor in a boot at CJ's wedding, but he was saying, like...
I don't have any recollection.
Oh,
sorry.
Well, anyways, but he's like, you go to put your foot down, there's like nothing there. And I just... the pain threshold and to shoot... and I think he got them both in.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
It's very impressive. Don't get me wrong.
Jared Sullinger got arrested last week or this week for beating up, or he didn't beat up his girlfriend, but I mean he put his hands on her and
did he? I mean I haven't read that article.
Yeah, she was going through his phone, and he was I don't know, something with the phone. He was smashing her phone, I think. Oh, she was going through his phone. He didn't, because she was suspecting him of cheating on her. And he didn't like that, so he pushed her. And then she was going to call the cops, so then he smashed her phone. And the cops came, and he got arrested. Probably, I like him, and he seems like a nice guy, nice kid. I don't think he's ever, just like on Twitter, like he's always, like, posting funny videos, and he seems like he's a laid-back kind of, happy-go-lucky kid. And his dad, travels and goes to all the games, even when they're on the road. And I feel like could be, I don't want to say he's going to be the next KG, because KG's like a different human. But I think Sullinger's a big part of what the Celtics are trying to do.
I agree.
Whether it's build them up, package them, and send them off for somebody, or just to keep them. And it kind of sucks with the Hernandez thing that happened for the Pats.
Tough.
And, it's like, just stay out of the news. I will say this, though. I saw him in court. He's always had a weight problem. He looked good. And I mentioned that to somebody, and they said, well, he's still... And I absolutely do not condone...
Well, good, he's staying in shape.
I do not condone what he did, but he's coming off back surgery, and he looked like he was in good shape. So if they decide...
No, but I heard it's very, very out of character for him.
Yeah.
I've heard that from more than one source.
Yeah.
Not real sources, because I don't have any.
You can have sources. It's cool. We all have sources.
It's called the radio.
Felger and Maz
exactly.
are my main source. Yeah, we're approaching 90 minutes.
Wow, that went pretty
crazy. I told
crazy.
you it goes
no one will listen if it goes much longer than that.
Well, that's why I told Kruger. I don't know if I told Kruger, but I tried to keep it around an hour, just because you gotta. I got a couple of loyal listeners. My dad, shout out to my dad who listens.
Mark.
Yeah, Richardson listened to the last one that Kruger and I did.
Nice. Tell him he's going down to fantasy.
He needs a bounce back year. He didn't have a good year last year, but I always give, I don't want to say my guests, but my co-host a chance to say something, speak into the mic.
Well, no,
last words.
Yeah.
Whether it's a sports topic we didn't cover, or, sorry, I'm standing, my pants are creeping up, but is there anything you want to talk about?
I'm not weirded out by anything you do. We are family at this stage. No, I really appreciate the offer. Come over here. I had a wonderful time. if I had more advance notice, I'd have at least a sheet or something to be prepared to discuss. I mean, right now there's nothing really to discuss but football. Let's get into it. The season's going.
Nothing but football, playoff baseball coming. Come on, Soy Bean. Hockey starts in a month.
Again, but
we got to go on.
Again,
hockey.
I don't care about hockey or basketball until after the new year.
Yeah,
you're right. I will baseball, but what are there? 20 games left?
Something like that.
So that's like 3 weeks away.
The rest of the month.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll have 3 solid weeks of some good football here.
Okay.
Hanging around with a new child. Shout out to Emily, due on Monday. Ella was 11 days late, so you never know.
Little Erica, huh?
Little Erica.
Now, you said something, and you kind of said it, and I wasn't really, I didn't follow up on it, but you said, there's 95% sure that it's a lady?
It is a girl, I think, yes.
Oh, okay, but you said it was 95%,
Well, because they weren't 100% sure. The second time around, that you only do 1 ultrasound.
And you've only done 1, right?
Yeah, and it's very early in the pregnancy.
So there's still that small...
Well, you know what?
Imagine if it was a dude.
Oh, my goodness.
Imagine that.
It would be unbelievable.
I mean, granted, you want a healthy
child. Absolutely. That's the most important thing. But if it was a boy, I would be booking the room next door for the vasectomy while she's recovering.
I'm marking that down in case that happens. I don't want to see it happen, but I want to see it happen. No, man, there's good stuff going on. A lot of stuff. And,
terrific, Ego.
Yeah, all right. We'll do this again soon, and had fun.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, brother.
All right. See you, man.